Welcome to today's full body series. You are going to need a pair of weights. I'm going to be using 5 pounds, and that is for our back and triceps. And I'm also wearing 2-pound ankle weights for our legs. You could use 1 pound or nothing, or you could use resistance bands instead for our side lying work. So let's get started here. We will start with a little cat-cow. So this is kind of the only time we're not going to be lying down today. So just starting rounding our back, pushing our mat away, tucking our tailbone, and then curling the other way, drawing our shoulder blades together, and then flowing back and forth with your breathing here. Start thinking of your back muscles turning on, your arms and legs pressing the mat away, and our core. So while we won't be doing like traditional core exercises, our core will be engaged a lot of the time today, getting a little core workout. And just one more here. And we'll start rolling out our wrists a little bit. And we'll do some hugs, so hugging your body in and then opening your chest. Hugging and opening. Just 2 more here. Hugging and opening. And last one. And open. So back onto our hands and knees. A little bit of bird dog here. So knees under your hips, hands beneath your shoulders, extending one arm out, and then opposite leg. This is going to be a challenge if you already have your ankle weights on like me, and then bringing elbow towards knee and reaching. Elbow and knee coming together and reaching. If this is too much, just do either arm or leg. Feel that stretch. This is still a warm-up, so taking our time here, connecting with our muscles. Think squeezing our bum. Think of those back muscles working, especially through that arm that's on the ground. For 2 here. And then we're going to hold on this one, and we're just going to do little pulses up. So being mindful not to lock our elbow. Nice long neck for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Switching sides, carefully planting down your hand and knee. Extending other arm out, other leg out. And then tucking in and reaching. Tuck and reach. Nice and long. Again, think of those muscles working. Doing a lot of back today, and glute, and triceps. Of course, shoulders will be involved, core will be involved, biceps. For 3, 2, and 1. Holding out here, neck is long, tighten that core, pulsing up, squeezing your bum. You got it, nice and long. For 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Coming in. You can take a child's pose or roll your wrists, whatever feels good. Okay, so now we're going to be lying down. Coming down to whichever side you want. I'm coming down onto my right side, so I'm going to be working the left side of my body to start. We're going to start with our back exercise. So knees can just be stacked. My forearm is down onto my mat. My elbow's a little bit beneath my shoulder, and then your hand, as always, can be kind of out to the side or in front. You can make a fist if you want, or just have your hand down. I have kind of a quarter turn here with my torso to the mat. So I'm not fully facing forward, but I'm also not fully facing the mat. And my arm is out here. My left arm is going to be doing the work. And I'm going to bring my arm up, drawing my left shoulder blade towards my spine, and then coming down. Left shoulder blade comes up and down. It's kind of like that reverse hug, or I guess I'm kind of like hugging in towards the mat. So my core is engaged here. I'm not just letting it all hang out. And I'm really thinking of my back muscles doing the work here. Obviously my shoulders working, biceps are working, chest is working, but really feel the back of your body, especially under that armpit area. For 3 here, and 2, and 1. Now you can stay in the same position, or you can come down, give your arm a little bit of a break for our triceps. So you're going to bring your palm is facing forward. Try to bring your elbow kind of towards the ceiling as best as you can. And we're straightening at the elbow and bending at the elbow. So my wrist is staying nice and strong. And I'm kind of going like behind my head here a little bit. But I'm really thinking the back of my arm doing the work, my triceps area. Of course, again, like shoulders doing work, back is doing work here. Biceps as well, but really thinking tricep press. For 4, 3, 2, and 1. So now we're going to do a tricep press. There's a couple different ways you can do this. The first way is you're going to take your right arm and kind of, you can like hug it by your left hip. And then you can bring your weight still in your left hand here kind of in front. We're going to do a 1-arm press up. So I'll just show you the first one. If you like to hold on to the weight, you can. I personally don't like to. I like to have my hand down. I feel a little bit more connected that way, but I'll show you one with the weight. So all you're going to do is you're going to press up using especially that left tricep. And then this is the hard part, the coming down with control. That's when you're really using the arm. As I said, I don't like to use the weight. I like to have my palm down and really press through my palm to press up, and then with control coming down. So it's like a tricep press and down. My elbow is kind of pointed down to the bottom of my mat where my feet would be. If this is too much for you and you don't like this, you can go back to our tricep extension this way, or you can do a traditional skull crusher, or you could do the tricep push-ups on your knees. But since we're kind of staying on this side, I just thought we would do this. Less moving around. And I think I have about 3 more in me with good form and good control. And 2, really pressing through that palm, like you're pressing through the floor. And last 1. And coming down. I'm going to do a little leg series now, giving that upper body just a little break before we get back to it. So a couple options as always. You can be bending your bottom knee. So my right leg, that's a little bit more support. A little bit harder would be my right leg pointing towards the corner of my mat in like a banana or crescent shape. And then the hardest would be a straight line with my bottom leg. I'm going to do, I think, crescent. I'm going to bend my bottom leg since I'm doing 2-pound weights. It's a little bit heavier than normal. Okay, so we're going to start just with our lift and lower. So with our torso, I'll talk while we do this. You want to make sure you're nice and long through the torso. You're not compressing any bones in your spine. So if you need to kind of like wiggle out and get nice and long, do that. this is working our core, as I mentioned at the beginning, because your core is turned on to help you stabilize from wobbling back and forth. Bonus points if you don't have to have your hand on the mat. If your core is not strong enough and we're building our strength and you need to have a hand down to support, do that. And we talk about having kind of like, we call it like a mouse house in Pilates. So that bottom area kind of under your side that's on the mat, you want to think lifting that slightly, like a natural lift when your core is engaged. Okay, one more here. And then we're going to do forward kicks and swinging back. And you're going to swing back just a little bit, not too far, and squeeze your glute. And we're not swinging our torso. That's why we're not kicking back very far, because we don't want to start swinging our torso around today. So my ankle, knee, and hip are all at the same height. There's some crap on me. And when I'm kicking back, I'm really thinking of driving through my heel. I'm trying to kick my heel back to turn on my butt. Using your breath here. And check in that you're not bending your neck too much. We've got 3 more. And 2. And 1. I'm going to come down for just a second. We have 1 more exercise on this side. So we're going to do our hip circles. So today we're going to do our circles as big as you can while maintaining that pelvic and torso control. So you'll notice my circles aren't like super huge since I am using these 2-pound weights. It's a little bit harder today. Maybe if I wasn't doing any weights, my circles could be a bit bigger. But I'm afraid if I go bigger, I might start to wobble a lot. 2 more in this direction. And then when you get to the top, reversing. Think reaching that leg, you're reaching to your far wall, trying to draw your circles on it. And your circles might be super wonky, that's okay. I see clients all the time, it looks like they're drawing squares or who knows what, lines or something. Breathing through it, reaching long. This is it, then we go back to our arm. For 4, 3, 2, and 1, and then rest. You can hit it out. So grabbing my weight again for our back exercise that we did earlier. This one also, if you don't like being up on your forearm, you can do it lying down. It's the same move. So I have my kind of quarter turn here, and then I'm bringing my shoulder blade in towards my spine. Kind of like that reverse hug. So if you're doing this on the ground, same idea. And the reason I like doing these on the ground like this instead of doing both arms at once is when you're doing both arms at once, kind of like if you're kneeling or standing or kind of hovering over your form, I just find it harder because I'm not as stable, whereas holding into this position, I'm more stable. So I don't get my low back hurting, my neck hurting. For 3, 2, and 1. I'm going to take a little break here between my triceps. I'm just checking to see if the babysitter, as in my parents, had messaged me because I got a message on my phone, but we're good. Okay, triceps. So again, you could stay up on your forearm. I'm just coming down to give it a little break. So again, I'm trying to think, pointing my elbow as much as I can towards the ceiling. Kind of depends on your anatomy, the length of your bones and things like that, and your mobility. But I am thinking my wrist is strong, so I'm not having the movement in my wrist. And I'm thinking of pressing back through the back of that arm. We've got 3 more. 2, and 1. And then with control, lower it down for those tricep push-up or like single arm kind of press-ups. So again, you can wrap your arm around. If you don't like that and you want to have it kind of down to help, if you need that kind of assistance, you can do that as well. I just kind of like to wrap it around. And then again, you could be holding on to the weight if you prefer that for your wrist. I have a better just connection with the muscle if my hand is down. And then we're going to come up. Oh, and I should have mentioned this last time too. Some people like to have their top leg straight. It just helps them a little bit more. If you need that extra assistance, squeezing your butt and that top leg helps you. But if you feel like you don't need that assistance and you can keep it a little bit more in your tricep, then don't do that and try to keep it all in your tricep. But take options that work for you. This is also some core in here. You might be feeling it on your side. And I've got about 4 more left in me here for 4. 3, if you're done and you are not able to control coming back down, then just take a breather for these next, 5 seconds before we go to our legs. And last one. Conversely, if you found this way too easy, then maybe increase weights. Okay, so we're back to our legs now. For this one, we're going to start with a lifted clam. So my knees are stacked. I have my torso nice and long again in that neutral spine position. My knees are stacked. My feet are kind of in line with my bum. Now I'm going to lift my feet up and then open and close. Open and close. So my feet are staying together. And the movement here is at my hip. If you don't like these feet in the air, of course, you can do a regular clam with your feet on the floor. Just adds a little bit more. We've got 4 more here. Think engaged core for 2 and 1. Lower down, give it a little second here. We're going to do, I've shimmied off my mat almost. We're going to do our rainbow legs today. Next. So, this shirt is kind of annoying. Okay. So we're going to reach our top leg out nice and long. Now, instead of having it parallel, I'm going to do an internal, I can't think of the word, twist? Whatever. We're going to turn our leg inwards. So it's not just my foot turning down. I'm thinking of my thigh bone turning and my hip socket down. With that, my shin kind of turns down and my foot turns down. So my toes are pointed towards the ground and my heel is reaching kind of back behind me. And we're going to do a half rainbow here. So I'm going to reach down, tap my big toe down to the ground, and then arc back up, reaching that back heel kind of back towards me. Big toe taps down, heel reaches. So I have this internal rotation. That's the word I was thinking of, rotation. Internal rotation in my thigh bone, staying here the whole time. And it's just kind of like a quarter rainbow. I saw a rainbow this week. That was nice. It was Monday morning. Good start to the week. 2 more here. Just because I find these really tough. Last one. Give it another little break. Okay. And then our last move is going to be a kick up towards the ceiling. So we're kind of in our clam position again, with my heels kind of in line with my bum. Now I'm going to do still that internal rotation. So I've lifted my foot up and it's kind of looking towards the ceiling. I'm flexing at the foot because I really want to kick through my heel. And now I'm going to kick up towards the ceiling and bring my knees back together. Kick and knees together. So I have my internal rotation of my thigh bone, and it's like I'm trying to kick my ceiling. Just gets a little bit more into that kind of center of my butt rather than the outer glute. We've got 5, 4, you got it. This is it for this leg. 3, 2, and last 1. And that is it for that leg. Okay. So you can just roll over to the other side, but I'm going to turn around so you keep seeing my face. So now we're going to do that whole thing on our right side. So starting with our back exercise, again, knees are stacked, hips are stacked. I've got my forearm down because that's what I'm choosing. My body's that quarter turn. And now I'm doing, it's kind of like a reverse chest fly. I'm thinking of bringing my shoulder blade towards my spine, towards my midline. Because this is more of a back exercise. If I was just doing like a straight lift and lower, that's more shoulders. So we do that sometimes. Some of my videos, you might have seen that. But today I'm trying to work more on my back because my shoulders are a little sore. I've mentioned in a previous video that I've started doing hot yoga, and then I have swimming lessons with my son, and my shoulders are just dead after those 2 activities. For 3, 2, and 1. Little break, and then I'm going to go down onto my side for my triceps. Again, getting into position here, and then lifting and lowering. Thinking elbow towards ceiling, and back of the arm doing the pressing. Yeah, I'm doing yoga, a hot yoga, and I'm still finding it a lot of shoulder work. And then we just finished our swimming lessons with my son, and holding him for that whole time, and we lifting him in and out of the water. It's a lot of work on my arms. So they're pretty tired today. And I just know we have, I think, like a 6-week break until the next swimming lesson, so he's going to be even heavier next time we go back. For 3, 2, and 1. And then with control, putting that down for our tricep presses. So again, kind of like wrapping my hand around my waist. Getting into position here, my palm is in front of my chest. My elbows kind of pointed down towards my feet. And then pressing up, and then lowering with control. That's the hardest part, because it is easy to slam yourself down. And you can, as I said, stick that top leg out. Squeezing that top leg does help. It's just using those muscles a little bit more, and since we're going to use them anyways in a minute for our leg exercises, you're kind of pre-fatiguing them maybe. And also thinking core helping you to lift up. Again, the more you think core, the more it's going to work, and the less your arm. Got 2 more here. And last 1. And then we do that leg series. So important form, getting set up here. My torso is nice and long. And I'm in a neutral spine. I'm going to, like I said, bend my bottom leg today since I'm using 2 pounds. And that first move is a minute of lifting and lowering here. And just a nice straight line. I'm thinking nice and long, reaching through this leg. And my foot is flexed because I personally like to reach through my heel on these. It just connects my butt a little bit more, which is what I always want to work on. I'm trying to not have a flat butt. Breathing through it. Again, that core is turned on. And play around, see if you can have your hand somewhere other than the mat. I always just put it to my hips, just as kind of like a reminder to keep them stacked instead of leaning backwards. All right, we've got 2 more here. and 1. And then foot, knee, hip in line as we kick forward and kick back, squeezing your butt as you kick back, forward and back. Core is working here to help keep your torso steady. Again, it's not a huge move, and maybe you're not kicking as forward as I am. I've been doing these for a long time. And I know we always want to look down at our leg, and you do want to peek down sometimes just to make sure, you know, your foot hasn't started to either drop down and be lazy and kind of go down, or you don't want to be up too high for these. But you don't want to always be looking down at your feet because that's, you know, putting that extra pressure on your neck and your spine. Okay, we've got about 2 more kicks. Last one. Taking our little break here, hit it out before we do our circles in each direction. And at any time, you can always have your head just down. I might just lie down for these first few. So drawing our circles as big as we can today. Thinking our thigh, moving around our hip joint, making those circles. It's not just our ankle spinning. And we're drawing those circles on that far wall, or for me, it's a window. Okay, 2 more in this direction. And then when you get to the top, I went to the bottom there, you can start reversing. Nice and controlled. We've got 10 seconds here. And then we go back to the upper body for 2. And last 1. And then, whew, I need a break there. The second leg is always the hardest. Second side's always the hardest because it's already been supporting us. So it's already had a little workout. Coming up here, like my left arm supporting me now, it already did work, so it's tired. Grabbing your weight for your back exercise, and then joining me when you're ready for our flies. Bringing that shoulder blade towards the spine. And we have that kind of quarter turn of our body. And just check in. If you're making a fist in these, like, is your fist super tight? Because you can relax it a bit. You're kind of wasting energy by making that fist when you could be using your energy for other things. For 2 here. And last 1. I learned that on a TikTok running, like a running tip. So getting down for our triceps. It was, yeah, like a tip for if you're running. And if you're running and making fists and like really clenching, like that's also using energy when you need the energy, obviously, to be running. So you just kind of have like, you know, always check in. Are you really making tight fists when you're doing things? Pointing that elbow as best as you can up to the ceiling. I know mine's not a perfect reach. And that wrist is strong. I find myself, like when I'm pushing a stroller, I have a really hard grip on it for some reason. And I noticed like my hands were starting to hurt after a while. So I always have to kind of tell myself and check in. Like, oh yeah, you don't have to have like a clutch on it. For 3, 2, and 1. There's just things like that through our day. It's kind of the same as, you know, clenching your jaw. If you do that all day, just check in. Are you holding tension anywhere? Okay. So for our tricep press up here, hand on the ground, leg can be out, or stacked your legs, and then with control, pressing up and lowering down. And as I said before, if you do not like these, if they don't feel great on your wrist, or you're just like, I cannot do this, I don't like this, do our regular, you know, tricep kind of push up on your knees, or skull crushers, or go back to the tricep extensions we were just doing. Because there's no point in doing exercise that you hate or you can't do properly. That's no fun. Just 3 more here. And 2. And last one. And then you can give your wrists or shoulders a little break. Coming up for our leg series. So we're going to do our raised clam. So again, knees are stacked. I have that neutral spine and I'm nice and long through it. Actually, I'm going to shift around, bring my hips down. My feet are kind of in line with my bum. And then I'm going to lift my feet up and open and close. So feet staying together. Oh, a little pop in my hip. And as I said, my hand just always comes to my hip here. I don't know if it's like that's what I learned, or it's just now it just happens. Because it's just a way to check in that your hip isn't starting, you're not starting to either lean forward down towards the mat or start to recline onto your back. Now I actually feel this also in my bottom leg because I think it's still tired from earlier. So that's totally normal. For 3, 2, and 1. Bringing it down for our rainbows. So bending my bottom leg here, bringing my leg up so that it's in line, my ankle, hip, and knee. Doing my internal rotation of my thigh bone. So toe is pointed down, heel pointed kind of up behind me, and then tapping big toe down in front and then reaching heel back. So it's that quarter rainbow or half rainbow, I guess. And maybe you don't feel like tapping all the way down. That's okay, don't do that. Do what works for your body and that you can handle. Oh, this side is a lot harder for me. I don't know about you. For 4, 3, oh my gosh, 2. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do the last exercise, and last one. Take a second here. Getting back to that kind of clam position, reaching. I'm keeping my leg down. See my brain now because I'm already worried about this next move and my butt hurts. Okay, leg stays down, internal rotation, knees together, heel towards the ceiling. We're kicking up towards the ceiling and bringing the knee down. Up and down. So this is our last move. And then we're just going to do a little stretch. Oh my gosh, I don't know if I can keep going and make this even on each side. We've got 5, 4, 3, 2, last 1. Oh my gosh, coming down, smack it out. Okay, so if you have resistance bands or ankle weights or anything, you can take them off. I mean, you can keep them on. I'm just going to take them off. Since we're just doing a stretch. Okay. So coming on to our backs, finishing this kind of lying down workout. We'll do our figure 4 stretch. So you can cross one ankle over opposite knee. Just press out your knee for a second to get that hip opener. And then if you want to reach through between your legs, grabbing that back hamstring, then tugging it in. You can, as always, rock side to side, like I say, or just stay still. Find the stretch that works for you. And then we'll switch sides. Again, just starting with that hip opener and reaching through. And flexing, I forgot to mention, flex your foot of the bent knee, well, of the ankle that's against your knee. And then you can rock yourself up for a little tricep stretch. So reaching one arm up, kind of pat yourself on the back, grabbing the elbow, and then stretching through the back of the arm. And then other side, patting your back, stretching. And then for our back, we'll just do a little reaching up. So reach one arm up, grow nice and tall through the crown of your head and through your fingers. Really elongate, and then side bend over. Think lengthening like a rainbow again. Getting that whole side body stretch. If you want a little bit more, you can kind of tug at your wrist. Some people like to do that. Today I'm just gonna reach. Coming back to center, grow nice and tall, reach, and then side bend over. Feeling that stretch. And then you can just do any other stretching that your body wants. Start taking those big breaths to tell your body it's time to rest and recover. I hope you enjoyed this workout. As always, leave any comments, questions, concerns, anything you want to see more of or anything like that. Let me know here or on Instagram, and I'll see you next time.